This is George King, an extreme athlete from Britain. He's 22 and constantly finding ways to push his mind and body to the extreme. He has climbed some of the tallest buildings in the world, all without any safety equipment, and sometimes it's even barefoot. This kid can do all the cool stuff that makes him look better than today's TikTok generation.
A 19-year-old has scaled London's tallest building, the Shard, using just his bare hands and a whole lot of nerve.
This is the iconic Shard, standing high above the London skyline at 1,016 feet. George was just 13 when he first saw the Shard. Watching it from the window of his bus, he immediately felt the passion to climb it. 5 years later, in 2018, George began working on his dream project. Over the next 1 year, he made nearly 200 visits, noting down each and every detail about the Shard.
His room was like a mastermind's room with pictures and things all over the Shard and ways to get in.
Police are going to wake up to a potential threat. The media is going to wake up to a breaking story. And I'm going to finally know if I live or die.
As the city was waking up, George sprinted his way to the corner of the Shard and sprang into action before the security could catch him. The climb was pretty straightforward. George knew exactly what he was doing and progressively climbing towards his dream. People on the streets were left astonished, witnessing a young boy ascending the Shard with such ease. However, as he drew closer to the viewing deck, things started to get quite difficult. There were no longer footholds that helped him throughout the climb, leaving only a smooth glass panel with no easy grips.
My feet began to start slipping. So I thought the only way I could continue is through momentum to gain traction. So it came as a fight to survive.
After around 45 minutes of intense climbing, George successfully completed this sensational climb. This was never done before in the world of urban climbing.
Months of planning and training, years of dreaming, and I have finally accomplished my dream.
The feeling I felt afterwards was just out of this world.
Media attention, sponsors, TV. George was on top of his game at just 19. But all of this came at a price. A few weeks after the climb, George found himself in court facing the Shard's legal team.
They committed me to prison for 6 months.
Life behind the bars was not easy for George. He saw someone slit both their wrists and his neighbor getting stabbed. However, this dark phase didn't affect his passion for climbing. During the course of his sentence, George made a list of buildings that he wanted to climb, and the Akbar Tower was one of them. This iconic skyscraper is one of the most attractive spots for urban climbers. Standing at almost 500 feet tall, the Akbar Tower's ladder-like structure makes it an accessible target for climbers. In fact, it only took George a mere 40 minutes to ascend and descend the impressive building before being arrested by the police. Since then, George has continued to explore life in ways that few dare to. From scaling the tallest roller coaster in Europe to surfing on trains and even base jumping from cranes, he continues to push the boundaries of what is possible. For some, he might be a crazy daredevil who just doesn't care about his life. For George, it's quite the opposite. Crazy to him is getting into debt by going to university. Crazy for him is having a 9-to-5 job. Crazy is living for the weekends. Crazy is seeking comfort. It's all a matter of perspective.
I don't really know what the f*** I am.